if I still have that. As long as people don't actually hear us talking, we should be fine. Nope, I don't have that video anymore. We're going to go back to that. Hey, everybody. And yes, I did actually know that you can hear me.
Hey, everybody.
But
We're
I will
live.
ask if people use headphones so that I don't have to hear the echo in there. You cannot see me, but you can hear me, and that is because I am what we call the geek in the van, the Git V. And we are sort of doing a on-the-fly Worldbuilders Weekly. And we are happy to have some special guests here. And as you can see, we are building the screen as we go. So you will hear me being the geek in the van. And as soon as Zay gives me the thumbs up, I'm going to turn the time over to her and the rest of the panelists. And you will just see me doing my best to have things set up in the background. Welcome, everybody, especially those who came from the 11s stream or stuck around. Let me tell you, this is exactly the kind of streamlined, finely tuned machine that you will get from Worldbuilders Weekly every Tuesday at noon, right here on twitch.tv Worldbuilders. Without further ado, here is the Assistant Director of Worldbuilders Incorporated, Zay Olson.
Hey guys, how is everybody? Welcome everyone. We have our graphic designer here. We have Jonathan, who works in the warehouse with us. I don't think that you guys have probably met him yet. And then we also have Kevin, one of our board members, joining us. And we're just gonna kind of chill a little bit, much like last night, but more sober, and talk about how the fundraiser is going and kind of what things look like from our different perspectives on the back end. It's kind of, how does the fundraiser function from our different point of views? And I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We broke $700,000, as you guys know, if you were in our last chat. So that's very exciting. And it is the result of a lot of hard work from our team. So thank you, team. I called them all fine in the morning meeting, so people might be salted. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me, and hello people in the chat.
Probably the fact that you called us all fine is the reason why I'm the only one from the morning meeting that showed up today.
Yeah. Yeah, how is everybody doing today? Jonathan, welcome. I don't think you've joined us on our Worldbuilders Weekly before.
I haven't joined much. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm interested and excited to be here. This is kind of fun. I love Twitch streams, so.
Awesome. One other small note today, we are supported by Point Brewery. If Gray wants to put up a little graphic for that. Yeah, Kevin. They're a local brewery in the same place as Stevens Point, or as Worldbuilders headquarters in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. They are super awesome. They have everything from like black cherry soda, different malt beers, regular beers, ciders. They make it all, mostly because they're in Wisconsin and this is a huge drinking capital. It's a great place. Go to pointbeer.com to see where you can get stuff. They have a distributor's map to see if you can get it near you. It's really great stuff. So thank you to them for supporting. We are here, of course, for Heifer International and raising money for that. I'm repeating myself a little bit because I don't have this part scripted, but yeah. So I guess we could just dive right in here. Fundraising is kind of different for every organization, or every 501c3 rather. I like to say Worldbuilders is weird because we do a lot of stuff that other I think that I've also forgotten to do trivia here. I'm looking at the we are just really organized this morning, mostly because we've jumped right from one stream to another. But That's all right. We'll still get to it. Oh yeah, we still have our old overlay. Thank you, Lab Volter, for pointing that out. Well, it's just where we are. Yeah, we anyways, 501c3s do things a lot differently. We're very different because we do prizes, and we also have a marketplace, which makes things odd compared to other 501c3s, because we, are definitely shipping stuff out all the time. Generally during a fundraiser, our volume will go up. And there's a lot of different things that go into organizing a fundraiser that you guys will get to kind of see from different parts of the team here. But yeah, anyone want to jump in? Kevin, I feel like you always have some things to say.
Yes, I always have something to say. That is my role in Worldbuilders is I am the one that everybody turns to and says, Kevin, say something.
Can you introduce yourself and kind of what your board member role has?
Absolutely. So I am Kevin Lampy. I am happily and delighted to serve on the Worldbuilders board of directors. And have been doing this for a couple of years now. We've been going through a wonderful rebirth and a transition over the last couple of years that has strengthened Worldbuilders organization. We have seen tremendous development on the staff and with the hiring of just an incredibly talented group of people that have given it firmer direction, more efficient operations, and all in all are just amazing, great people. And so I am thrilled to be a part of this in my professional life. I am, as I like to say, 49% of Kurth Lampy worldwide. The 51% is my wife and boss. She is my boss both at home and office. We're a strategic communications firm that does difficult things. And so we always have very interesting clients, including among them Patrick Ruffus and the work that we actually happen to do with Worldbuilders.
Yeah. So Kevin's role as a board member is kind of like outside of the team, but also a little bit of I'm not sure what the great word here is, but kind of looks over the organization, as board members tend to do. So it's a lot different than the kind of perspective that we have from, like, getting things set up from the inside. And then the kind of even less abstract, even more inside point of view, I would say, comes from Jonathan, where he actually deals physically with a lot of the changes that happen with the organization and what that looks like from inside the warehouse. Why don't we jump over to Zoe, our graphic designer? What has it been like? This is your first fundraiser with us. It's also my first end of year fundraiser. How have things been going on your end, Zoe?
They've been really great. I was very nervous about what it would be like and how crazy it would be, but I feel like you guys did a really great job of organizing what you thought we would need, and what we thought we would need, we did need. So it's been, I feel like everybody's running around right now still because the fundraiser is going on. And so you guys are all doing all of the work. And I feel like I'm sitting back going, yeah, I did all the graphics and they're all ready and I can change them and fix them. And the way we would hope it would run, I think, is very much the way I think it's been. It's been really fun.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you guys get to look at and see, the way that we're represented on social media, a lot of the overlays, our calendars, that all comes from Zoe. So big props. Thank you, Zoe. And Jonathan, what is it like? You not only do like kind of warehouse work, but you also deal with customer service, which is kind of a direct response to people that come into the questions inbox. How is that? How has it been for you joining Worldbuilders?
It's been refreshing, honestly. Not to knock any of the other places that I've worked, but I mean, people here are really nice. Even the customer service, like the people I talk to just briefly, some people send me pictures of their home in Alaska, or which I shared on Slack because it was so pretty. And people are just really nice. You know, they just like to be responded to. And so I try to get back to people as quickly as possible. Yeah, everyone's just really nice. I really, there's never been a day so far, even though it's almost, I think it's getting past a month now, and it hasn't felt like it. It feels like a week, maybe. And where, you know, sometimes if you work at like a bad place and, you know, a place that's stressful, and, you know, it can be stressful physically here. But I feel fine, you know, like I'm like interested to come into work. I feel like, ooh, what's going to happen today kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I didn't come into Worldbuilders and I was automatically, assistant director. I kind of took the place of someone who was both events coordinator and handled volunteers and donations, a couple other things like that. And I was very nervous because I handled the questions box. And, you know, I kept saying like, oh, I'm a little nervous of what it's going to be like communicating with, you know, both people kind of coming at us with, you know, quote unquote complaints, as well as what it's like trying to communicate with the people we host on our panels, which, you know, to me are essentially celebrities. And they assured me that you are dealing with geeks and everyone is an introvert. It's not the case for, you know, every single person, but I think the geek community, as a whole tends to respond to Worldbuilders as, we're doing our best, which, you know, we really are. We're here doing our best. And I gotta say, from that perspective of the way that you guys communicate with us and your understanding, especially during COVID, not only did it kind of make the end of your fundraiser delayed, as we transitioned in-house as well in a couple ways, but also Indiegogo. You know, we just really could not anticipate the way that the post office was going to be affected. And it was even slower than we anticipated. And everyone has been warm and understanding. And of course, there are exceptions, which I think we still try to be understanding because, you know, you still want things, especially that you've paid for. But yeah, we just have a great community. We say it all the time, but it's really true.
I want to just add in too, you know, I don't deal with the customer service directly, but I do deal with some of it when it comes across in social media. And I've felt the exact same thing. You know, people are like, hey, I've been waiting 6 months for my stuff, or, you know, and usually it's stuff that we've been waiting for as well. But they've been really nice and generous when I say to them, oh, you know, let me see what I can find out about it. And, you know, they've all been like, hey, this is great. It's fine. So yeah, it's not standard also, I want to say, to wait 6 months for stuff. that is not our standard.
Yeah. But yeah, I do need to do my due diligence. Generally, we have Worldbuilders Weekly will open up with our trivia. I do have to talk about our trivia because it is something we run weekly. For those of you that are new in the chat or just joining us, trivia we always have every week. No shit, I've said that 8 times. We have a weekly trivia where, you know, you can answer us in the DMs. And you're put in to win a prize. This is not a special thing that has to do with our fundraiser. We're always doing it. So we start with the one from last week, and that one you guys can kind of go ahead and throw in your answers if you knew it or not. But then the new one that comes up please make sure that that is answered in the DMs only. We don't want to ruin it for everyone. We want people to have a chance to answer and be put into those prizes. So last year's we have, what is the hashtag for this year's end of year fundraiser by Worldbuilders benefiting Heifer International? Who knew that one? Please put it in the chat. Yeah, that was quite a point of, Kevin, do you know it? What is it?
It is hashtag SF. It is
hard to say
hashtag.
out loud.
Yes, it is. It is more fun to write. It is fun to type. I will tell you, it is a complete joy to type it, but it is a challenge to say it. It is hashtag S2LF2.
Thank you. It is. I always want to put a 4 where the F goes because there's another number.
Yes.
But
yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's for something to look forward to. Thank you for those of you who answered. As always, a winner will be chosen, and that adds up towards the end of the month. For whoever gets the most right answers is entered into win a prize. The next trivia question, so next week's, Gary came up with it. We're sending him back to social media hashtag class. That's what Worldbuilders said in the chat. Yeah. So for the next one, next trivia question, please make sure that it's answered in the DMs. That can be across any social media platform, including questions. All right. So I'm seeing if it's up on the screen or I'll just start reading it. So for next week's Trivia Tuesday, this cheat code first appeared in the 1986 release of Gradius, but was made popular by the NES or NES game Contra. What is the button sequence one would need to enter to activate this now famous code? Remember, answer in the DMs. This one is kind of a little bit cryptic. So, yeah, this is also my jam. Shout out to the gamers in the chat. Woo! But yeah, sorry that broke us up, guys. Again, if you're joining us this week, usually Worldbuilders Weekly is a little bit more organized. Kevin, are you bobbing your head because you're like, it is absolutely not. You're a bunch of goofballs.
Because so let me know. I will completely contradict everything you just said, because I have this. One of the things that I talk about in my business is in order to look good, it's like a duck. You know how a duck looks like it's just smoothly gliding along on the water, but underneath it's paddling like hell. And I see that at Worldbuilders. I know you all are paddling like hell beneath the surface, but I must tell you, with all objectivity that I could possibly muster as being so close to the Worldbuilders team and the Worldbuilders organization, is that you all make it look so smooth. I am, you know, I don't know if this sounds paternal, but I am proud of you. And I really do feel that way, because I have seen the evolution that this team has made over the last year. And I've seen the dedication and the commitment and the idealism and the optimism. And I am an idealist. I am an optimist. And I'm always looking for the good side. And I find that consistently among the Worldbuilders and in how it faces. Yes, behind the scenes, it can be utter chaos, but it is supposed to be utter chaos behind the scenes. If it is not, then something is going wrong, because everybody is contributing, everybody is being a part of what's going on. Believe me, I have been, professionally, I have been in some of the most intense situations that you can imagine, and been behind the scenes at historical events. And I will tell you that behind the scenes, it's crazy, but it's crazy in a wonderful way. And it is only because of you all's passion and dedication, intelligence, smarts, all those superlatives I can throw at you, that it doesn't come off. There is a reason why last summer, when we did a fundraiser just for capacity, just to help the wheel builders, that we raised an amazing amount of money. And there is a reason why we're not even halfway through, and we've already busted through $700,000. And something that's very important in my business is third-party validation. We're always looking for our clients. Who else says we are good? I'm trying to give you some 2.5 party validation because I'm a board member. But you are doing these things. And the fact that like Humble Bundle community has decided to put up, hundreds of thousands of dollars in matching funds. And boom, we blew through that, which is only because people donated. Because if people didn't donate, we couldn't get the matching funds. And then Humble Bundle said, you know what? We're going to send you more because you people are so amazing. So I will contradict everything you just said about that. Is that this is the Wheel Builders way, is to care, and you do things wonderfully.
Thank you. It's interesting to me because Jonathan, you said that you've only been with us for a really short time. I think sometimes the newness of a job kind of feels like glamorous, and I think any new job you start, unless it's absolutely horrendous, can feel kind of exciting and happy because it's new. But I will say that, particularly the person you work with, Mike, he really cares. He's really great. For those of you that haven't seen Mike, who haven't been with us very long on World Builders Weekly, he is the manager of our warehouse. And he is also the longest standing person currently at World Builders. He's been here for, I want to say 6 years to a decade. I could be misquoting, but it really cares. Somebody says, Mike, World Builders, Mike is the beating heart of World Builders. We would not survive without him. No, that's very true. He has been with World Builders through a lot of transition. And my point is that I hope as you stay with us, Jonathan, that you find your job is still as nice and feels as warm as when you first start. Because it is, for me, anyways, the glamour has not got away. I say it to my partner all the time that I love my job. And even on days where I'm personally angry and I want to go put myself in a cave, a lot of the times my coworkers are the people that keep me feeling like I can go through with things. But I'd also like to let either one of you speak, even Zoe. Zoe, you also haven't been here for a crazy amount of time. And before this, you were a stay-at-home mom, which is a job that is very demanding. What has it been like kind of coming in, and what is it like, from coming in from a period of maybe relative, or not as crazy to maybe now where the fundraiser kind of built up, maybe it was crazy building up.
Yeah, I mean, I came in, like you said, I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. This is my third or fourth career. I went back to school to do graphic design and with the intention of, getting a job and working. And then I graduated in the middle of coronavirus and and then I had no job and I wasn't working and I was still a stay-at-home mom, but I felt like really in a less than great spot. And this job has just been so amazing, and the people have been so amazing. And is it a difference between my old coworkers, which were cats and a tortoise, and didn't communicate with me very well?
She's talking literal.
I am talking. I literally have 3 cats and a tortoise, and 2 children that I spent 13 years, driving around to everything that they possibly could need. I, went from that craziness to this wonderful work environment. And it may be that, the fact that I have been out of the workforce for so long, but I love coming to work every day. I love the stuff that I do. I love the people that I work with. I can't say a bad thing about it. except that apparently somebody in the chat is saying that I'm, what did he say? Sassy and
Okay, let us be real. This is a sassy work environment.
it is a sassy work environment, but I think that he said something that I disagree with. Well, you know, sarcastic I'll take, snarky. That was the one. I don't think I'm snarky. Do you think I'm snarky?
No, I think you're definitely the most extroverted person probably on our team.
I have
or
to say,
one of them.
I have to say honestly, when it comes to, you know, I've taken those extroverted tests, and you know, most people come in the middle. You know, I think that my test came back 98% extrovert and like 2% introvert, and I'm not really sure what that 2% is, but I question that. I am definitely probably the most extroverted person in most rooms, wherever it is, wherever we are. So yes, I definitely am not.
You are statistically at 98% the most extroverted person.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Those tests just crack me up, but I definitely am, wherever I am, I'm usually the one talking the most. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let somebody else talk now.
Jonathan, really, you've been talking way too much. Please rein it in. No.
Are we all gonna compare our what's it called, the Myers-Higgs Myers?
Oh,
yeah, we're all gonna compare ours.
We don't get to. I don't actually interact with Jonathan. I'm kind of you, but I'm also talking to the chat that much. You know, on a day-to-day, mostly you're there with our warehouse people, Sydney and Mike. What is it? What has there been quite a bit of change? And of course, I know some of these answers. I'm just trying to give you a space to speak about during the fundraiser, and as far as like marketplace works. What has that been like?
What is the? Sorry, which part?
Oh no, I'm just saying. You deal with Worldbuilders market a lot of the time, and I'm just curious if during the fundraiser since the beginning of December, has there been quite a bit of change in the marketplace for you, as far as volume?
Yeah. So when I first got here, the packing table area was pretty barren, and the things that I had to do when I first got here were all like busy work stuff, like just really getting my hands on the Dracuses and quality checking them, pulling on them and stuff. And so if you have a Dracus, it's, you know, I've probably
He's touched it a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And then since then, it's really been a lot of like, there's been a lot of room for training. Luckily, if you were to have brought me on now, I would be worried because it's I guess less than I expected, because this is really new to me, like brand new. I mean, not customer service, but the like warehouse kind of fulfillment center environment is super new. And I was just reading, my Dracus has been manhandled. And I was thinking like, oh God, this is going to be like Amazon. I'm going to be like walking like a mile a day back and forth. I'm going to die. But no, I've really, you ever watch those, what do you call them? Oddly satisfying, like video compilations, you know, where they're like, you know, everything fits all nice and neat. That's pretty much what I do on the packing table, is just like getting like a really nice tight box, and like you shake it and nothing moves and it fits perfectly, and you find the right size for the box and everything's just like great, and you're just like, yes, this is superb. And then you throw away, and then there's the next one, and you do that like 50 times. because there's 4 of us, so
Mhm.
so I don't have to do all like 150 orders or something in a day, but and I'm pretty slow, but I'm methodical. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find a way to get faster and methodical. But
And as far as having to be in a warehouse, and please don't feel like you need to like reframe your answers to make it like seem glamorous. What is it like in a warehouse where there's COVID? I know that we write policies where you have to wear a mask all the time, and you weren't in that environment previously. Is it kind of like is it a hard day kind of going through the restrictions and stuff?
not really. There's so few people here that like narrowly avoiding an interaction isn't difficult. So that's nice. I would say, I have, my neat little Etsy mask. Shout out to Etsy. I don't know the username. It's super comfortable. It's like I have like used plenty of masks. This one's just like fits. It's big. It like goes all the way under. So really comfort wise, I'm fine. It really hasn't hurt me. So I don't really know if I need to glamorize it or de-glamorize it. It's really just kind of, I'm lucky to be in a place that it isn't that much of a problem and everyone respects it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And our warehouse also, if anyone's curious, is not it's not insanely large as far as the packaging area, the lobby. So you can still like, without even yelling, kind of talk to each other, even when you have like a bit of distance between you. It's normally we would have these kind of packing parties to get all of your guys' prizes out the door. And it's just, or, after what was formerly Black Friday, those kinds of things were kind of the highlight. It was kind of a fun like get together thing that Worldbuilders has. And to answer your question, Karina, currently we only have 3 people in our warehouse, as opposed to, what could have at one time been 10 volunteers at a time, or our entire team of about 10 people plus 10 volunteers. And now, our Karina says, what? Yeah, so for those of you that are unsure of how Worldbuilders functions, our entire 501c3 is made up of about 10 people. That's what keeps this fundraiser going. And our board of directors is actually about the same size as our team. So they have their whole claws on. No, they're actually very nice. I am curious though, speaking of board of directors, sorry if I kind of cut off my own point there, guys. Kevin, what is it like, because you work a lot in for politics, if I'm allowed to.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is it like working in, that kind of, I wouldn't say politics. I don't want to say politics is for profit, but it's not this, it's not a 501c3. So I'm curious in your experience, what is it like going between, for profit, publicists, and then also in politics, and then 501c3. How does kind of Worldbuilders compare to that environment for you?
Well, it's a great question to say, because it is something that at my firm we pride ourselves on. We tend to work with passion-driven organizations. If I ever write my management book, it's going to be about passion-driven organizations, which are different than profit-driven organizations. And even my firm is a passion-driven organization, because if we were profit-driven, I'd be billing an hour right now instead of being on the stream. But I'd much rather be on the stream, and it's much more appropriate. And Patrick's my client as well, so it is technically a billable. But everybody who is involved is doing this because they want to do it. And so one of the challenges in a passion-driven organization for a board is to make sure that they're channeling their energy in the right direction. And that they understanding that the difference between strategy and tactics. A board gives vision, but also has a responsibility Fiduciary responsibility, which is one of the first big words I learned when I started board service, is that we're responsible for making sure that the money is there, and that the operations are done so that people get paid, and so that the organization lives up to its goals, where it gives a large percentage of its money to charity as opposed to other groups. You get these phone calls from these police groups. To go on a tangent here, you get these phone calls from these police groups that try to raise money, and they call you at home, and then you ask them, of every dollar, how many cents goes to fundraising and how much goes to the nonprofit? And they tell you 10 cents goes to the nonprofit. Well, that's wrong. That's not, that means you're profit driven, not passion driven. And Worldbuilders is passion driven. The wonderful people that have assembled to join the board come from a whole variety of backgrounds, a whole variety of cultural differences, a whole variety of who they are, that it makes for this incredible group of people that is dedicated to making sure that we are doing and committed to our vision, and making sure that we carry out and do the things we can so we can raise $700,000, for Heifer International that's being passed through directly. And so that's the difference is, and I guess even the difference in my professional life between like doing press releases for, different people. Today, I've done press releases for Worldbuilders. I did press releases for a foundation that's another client, where they provide, and it's a very intense topic, they provide burial expenses for parents who lose a child. And they're getting honored today as we speak out in California for the work they're doing. And we put out a press release about that today. And so, there is very little that comes out of Kurth Lampe worldwide, as we like to call it, as we actually officially are, that isn't driven by passion. And that's why this works so well, and we can integrate so well. Even though I'm the guy in the button-down shirt here with a little polo pony on it, I still am passionate about this, and I still believe in this, and I still believe in what everybody's doing. And my job as a board member is to make sure that there is an environment for you all to be successful, and that there is an environment that we can do the most for the most amount of people.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. And it really is a reflection of our board in general. I have been a part of quite a few nonprofits. As many of you know, if you've joined us in the chat, and we have a board who everyone in their own way tries their best to help and contribute, and really is worried about the future of the organization. Not worried, but cares about, has opinions on things, wants to be involved, wants to find a way to help us move forward. And also doesn't try to inject themselves into the team in a way that we feel is disruptive. I think there's definitely for me who's not, I'm not Gray, I'm not the executive director, so I don't report directly to the board, but I do get to sit in on our board meetings. And sometimes I have side chats when we talk about things, for instance, like what does the future of our store look like, as far as coming from a 501c3 to perhaps a different type of entity. And those side chats, it's very obvious to me when I feel concerned about certain roads that are brought up, or certain things. I get people from the lawyer side or our financial committee side saying like, they're willing to break down their thought process with me. And it's just very obvious that besides the fact from being a robot, as I said in the chat, we have board members who are willing to take the time, who care. And it's just really nice. I haven't actually ever been a part of a nonprofit where both the team and the board feels like so invested. It's just really great. And of course, I would like to give a shout out to Pat because he kind of created this community, and the people that he brought on are strategic, and it really is a reflection of his original vision, I think, to see it grow over the decades, which has been it's really great to be a part of it. But yeah, we got about 10 minutes left. I am wondering, is there anything in the chat? Do any of you have questions, either regarding like specific, for the people that are here, regarding their specific positions, or just in general about World Builders? We do have, it isn't all like fun and games all the time. We are an organization, so we do organizational work, and that means talking like it's a job on a daily basis. So, yeah.
While we're waiting for the questions, I had something to say. So I have worked for nonprofits before, and one of the wonderful things about this nonprofit, and I've worked for great nonprofits who are very passionate about what they do. But it feels like a lot of times when you work for a nonprofit, you spend so much time trying to figure out how to financially do something the cheapest way, and therefore sometimes, very often, a least effective way. And one of the wonderful things about Worldbuilders is that because we have the marketplace and we can get our income for supporting us through the marketplace and then do our fundraisers, that all of the fundraiser money goes to where it's supposed to go to, there is the bonus of being able to say, hey, you're a graphic designer, you really need to work in Illustrator. Let's buy you a package so that you can work in Illustrator. As opposed to, hey, here's this free software that's kind of like Illustrator, but not quite, and you figure out how to use it. And so I feel like that is one of the real bonuses of working here, where you don't feel like every time you ask for something, you're taking money out of a person's mouth, taking a goat away from a family. To do it. Whereas where in nonprofits that I've worked in the past, are great, fabulous nonprofits. I've worked for the International Crane Foundation. We had tons of people working for the Crane Foundation, but anytime you asked for something, it felt like you were taking food directly out of the crane's mouth.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that I love about the way this organization is set up, is that you really can say, hey, I mean, we don't spend money willy-nilly, but there are things that make our jobs easier and make them, better, make us better at doing what we do.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because I had also thought about that while Kevin was talking. I think that there's often this kind of mindset that a nonprofit should never spend money on itself. And that's unfortunately wrong. You have to, if you aren't taking care of the people who run your organization, you are not in any way fulfilling your mission, regardless of what it is, because we are a humanities organization. We cannot say that we care about other people out there going through, refugees, or social justice issues, or the people that have her help, if our own team is suffering financially, if our own team can't eat, have their basic needs met, and don't have health care. I don't understand, how we could even pretend like our mission is being fulfilled. So yeah, that's kind of where we say Worldbuilders is weird, because people wonder, well, how can you even give 100% of profits to things? Where is the, realistically, organizations or 501c3s should be sustaining from anywhere from 3 to 6 months in their administration's costs. We do that, and like Zoe said, we're able to do that through Marketplace when you guys purchase stuff through Worldbuilders Market, and also our capacity fundraiser. That's that Indiegogo fundraiser that we do. That's our Keep the Lights On fundraiser. Just to kind of expand on what you've said, Zoe, and not to cover up what you've said completely. But yeah, that's the money that goes towards our administrative costs, to support our own people and make sure that they're comfortable and that they have, a happy life, and also aren't part of that burnout that is so common in nonprofits. You work very hard for a cause, and often you're struggling financially on your own. It's very unsustainable. So that goes towards our administrative costs. I'm sorry. And then it's because of that, we are allowed to then push every penny as well as transaction fees that we often cover from our own pockets towards those causes that we care about. It's a very, very special organization, and it's the only nonprofit I've ever been a part of that's able to do that and do it sustainably.
I just want to make a note here. Anybody that's watching this on the playback, please rewind and listen to everything that Zay just said and take it to heart. I couldn't have said it better, and thank you for saying it. But please, if you're watching this on the replay, back it up, watch it again to really understand how important capacity and taking care of nonprofit workers is.
Thank you, Kevin.
And I'd also like to say that Zay is sort of putting down a little bit what Worldbuilders does for its employees. And it's more than just, like the basic level is to make sure that they have healthcare, make sure that they have food, make sure. And Worldbuilders goes above and beyond that. They say, hey, I think that we feel like everybody should have election day off, so we're going to pay you to have election day off. They have, it's beyond just that basic level. So I think, it is truly a wonderful place to work. And, they really preach what they believe, what they say people should do.
And that goes for people in the warehouse too. I will say this live on our stream, Jonathan, if you ever have concerns, you are free to bring those up to Mike or myself directly. We have a very small organization, and it shouldn't just stop at I'm able to live. There's, you should have comforts afforded to you, not to the point where I'm sorry, none of you can take your masks off in the warehouse because everyone needs to live until COVID is done. But, everyone should have, the ability to go to the doctor without being afraid. That's a big thing that I didn't have before I worked here. Or thank you. Worldbuilders put, not just survive, but thrive. And there are a lot of accommodations that we had to make when people shifted to working at home. They didn't have all of the sudden the access to a lot of the things that we had while we were in an office. Now that meant putting in their things from their own home towards working. And Gray and I brought that to the board, and we made it a point to make sure that should our employees come to us saying, I have to use this, and this to be able to do my job, can we do anything about that from Worldbuilders? And the answer is yes, and then there is a lot that Pat does on his own, to make sure that our employees are comfortable and just have small perks as well. But
yeah, I if I can just add, I that's something I felt right away. I think a week ago or so, Mike had sat down with me and just talked to me, and he's like, really, just like we're trying to like grow, so if you have any input, anything that you need, just let me know. And at like the first day, it's felt comfortable. I've never felt pressured. Some places they're like, of course, yeah, you can take a break, but it's like, they're like,
yeah,
need you here still. And it's like, no, yeah, absolutely. Like, just go, just leave. Like, if you need anything, just go. Like, if you have to pick up your medication for like just a minute, just go. If there's any problems at home, he's like, okay, you don't need to come in. If there's, if you feel like even like a little bit down, or like you feel like you just need to take a day or something, that option is open, because, it really feels like everyone's prioritized, mental health, physical health, like anything. It's very welcoming and comfortable. So
that really, I'm honestly like, I think that being, alongside Gray as I would like to, if I can say this, a leader in our organization, we have really made it a point that everyone who comes in feels valued. And, we tell employees, like, be taking those breaks during the day. You don't get the option. You need to, you need to be taking breaks during the day. I think the worst person for that is Mike. He often doesn't stop working, so we have to push him to stop working. But there are some people who are workaholics. But yeah, it's very much, hopefully, not just good for a nonprofit, but I would like to think a forward-thinking place, just as an organization in general, is what we really strive for. Since we're talking about it, awesome. By the way, Zay is the best assistant director. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to stop reading that, but that's really nice. Thank you, Worldbuilders. But yeah, so I hope that when you guys do donate, during this fundraiser, of course, I'm kind of wrapping us up here a little bit because we're on time. But if you donate during this fundraiser, it goes to Heifer, obviously. If you really like our business practices and you really want to support Worldbuilders, you are also welcome to buy from Worldbuilders Market. That's how you can support us. That's not what this chat is meant to be. It's just kind of meant to be like, what does it look like during a fundraiser, and what does it look like at Worldbuilders in general and during the fundraiser. But I would encourage you all also to donate to Heifer International. They do great work. They do sustainable work. They put up the foundations for people to, help themselves, hopefully kind of looking at it as the opposite of that, white savior mindset. Instead, they give tools to communities so that they can keep sustainable change in water, in education, economic sustainability. I'm just looking at our fundraiser here. $700,530 is how much you guys have raised for Heifer International so far. I'm very proud of you. If we were to stop the fundraiser today, that number is beyond our $500,000 goal. It is wonderful. Heifer loves you guys. Our geek community is one of the highlights of their year because it's just overwhelming love and, of course, fun, because everybody is a huge fun part of it. You guys go out of your way to participate in things, and it's really great. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. Again, if you joined us last night or today, maybe it was a little different than our streams usually work. But come back next week. Every Tuesday, we have Worldbuilders Weekly. We often have authors, game developers, different people in the geek community join us. And it's always lovely to see everyone in chat. Would anyone else like to get some final words or thoughts in?
Yes. Watch all the Acts of Whimsy videos. That is your job this afternoon. You have been officially been given dispensation. If you have work to do this afternoon, take 15 minutes and go to the YouTube page and watch all the Acts of Whimsy.
Does that mean me too? Do I get to do that too?
Zoe, you can take time to watch Acts of Whimsy.
15 minutes. Clock in, clock out.
You can have as much time as you want to watch Acts of Whimsy. I'm the boss.
Yes. Yeah. Boundaries for bored people. Sorry.
And thank you, Jonathan, for coming in from the warehouse to join us. It's been really nice hearing you talk and getting to know you a little bit, actually, through the stream.
Yeah, bring me back in 3 months, and I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say.
Awesome.
Good or bad.
Yeah, right. When he's finally over it and exhausted and hates. But yeah, and again, thank you for everyone who has joined us in the chat. I did not answer everyone's questions, I realized. But if anybody ever has questions for us or how our organization runs, how our money develops, you don't have to rely on our fiscal reporting at the end of the year. We have plenty of videos on how Worldbuilders works in YouTube, or you can ask us directly through questions@worldbuilders.com. If they're organizational questions, they'll be bounced towards Gray or myself. Thank you again, everyone. and come back next week. Here's the special word. Viva la mousse!
Viva la mousse.
Viva la mousse.